Hello, Tigers, and welcome to week 34. This week will be a very busy week. We have a lot going on. In addition to what we normally do, this week you will have an assignment in iStation. So you will do your iStation minutes this week. And when you do your iStation minutes, you need to click on assignments and go to your assigned activities. You see there's 3 different groups with 3 different activities. Do one completely, then the other, because they kind of build on each other. So you want to go in order and you want to finish each one before you get to the next one. All right? So let's get started on our foundations, shall we? Hello, Tigers, and welcome to week 34, activity 3. For this activity, you will not need your foundations notebook. You will be completing this activity in your Seesaw journal. I'll show you what you're going to do in a moment. Let's review some things, shall we? So we've been doing a multi-syllable 2 steps when we look at words, so we know where to blend the words. And we have 2 questions. Before we continue, I want to stop and remind you what you should be looking for when you chunk your word into syllables. We know about 2 syllable types. We know about open syllables that have a long sound, and we know about closed syllables. This is old material, but it's stuff that's important. We're always going to need to know this. But sometimes we don't know when to make it an open syllable and when to make it a closed syllable. We don't know where to put the letters when we're chunking. So let's talk about that right now, shall we? So in multi-syllable 2-step, we have 2 questions. How many vowels do you see, and are they together or apart? So in this word, we have a vowel here and a vowel here. We call this pattern a vowel consonant vowel pattern. And if we have a word like this, it's kind of simple because we have to keep a vowel in each syllable. So I know I'm going to have 2 syllables because only VCE stays together. VCV, we separate them, right? So I'm going to have this chunk on this line and this chunk on this line. So it's quite simple when it's only 1 syllable there, right? So normally, this is how we would divide this. And so this word is so, low. There are actually 2 open syllables, aren't they? Each of the O's is going to be long because there's nothing following them in that syllable. Let's look at another example. So we still use our 2 questions. What vowels do we see? Are they together or apart? Well, you see in this, they are apart, right? So we know we're going to have 2 syllables. And we can write the 2 syllables or we can put our line. But we're not sure where these other letters go. So this is what we do know. Maybe you don't recognize it, but this is what you know. If you have 2 consonants between, or 2 letters that aren't vowels in between the vowels right here, these 2, then we're going to divide it in the middle of the 2 consonants. All right? So when we chunk this word, we will have pick, nick. And those are both closed syllables, so they have the short I sound. Pretty easy. Just divide it between the 2 consonants. Let's look at another one. So our 2 questions. What vowels do you see? Are they together or apart? So these ones are together. But what do we also notice? And we talked about this, I think last week or the week before we reviewed this. We called this a final stable syllable, didn't we? Do you notice this final stable syllable? We always have to look for this before we chunk our word, or even before we read the vowel sound, don't we? Because it's going to change that vowel sound. We could have just said between the two syllables, right? And we would divide the word here. I'm trying to get my pen. And we would say, oh, there's two consonants. I'm going to divide the word between the two consonants. And we say no, because if we would have done that, our first syllable would have been tab. And we talked about this last week. We want to keep, if we want to make the word table, we have to say tay, and it has to be a, so that has to be an open syllable. And all of this has to stay together because it's a final stable syllable, BLE, bowl. So we have table. So don't forget that. You don't need to write anything right now. I just want to remind you of a few things. You're going to be practicing this in a moment, but right now we're just doing it together. So let's look at a few more words, shall we? Bunch of words, a bunch of letters on the screen. We have to do, how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. So we're going to go to this first word. Our two questions. How many vowels do you see? Two vowels. Are they together or apart? They're apart. What do we know? We know if we have two vowels and they're apart, we should have two syllables. Let's look at what's in the middle of these two syllables. Do you remember where to divide this word? Where to chunk it? So if we were going to write two lines, what would you write on the first line? Do you remember what we just said? When it's a vowel, vowel consonant E? Right. We usually divide it after the first vowel. So this will be an open syllable, and this sound will be bay, and the second syllable will be sin, basin. A basin is like the bottom of a bowl or the bottom of a hole, the basin. All right, so let's look at the next one. Two questions. What vowels do you see? Are they together or apart? We see two vowels that are apart. What do we know? We know that we're going to have two syllables. Do you notice what's in the middle of the vowels? Do you remember where to divide this? I don't see any final stable syllables that are going to make it a little weird. I don't see any E-controlled syllables, do you? Remember, we have to look for those. Do you remember where to divide it? Let's see if you're right. So we divided the word, or chunked the word, into two syllables. So the first chunk is, read it with me here, den, and the second syllable is tist, and the word is dentist. So when you do this on your own in a few minutes, I want you to read each chunk, and then I want you to read the word. All right? And then if you want to check to see if you chunked it right, let's check it. So the word is dentist. Let's clap it out. Dentist. Did we chunk it right? Did we divide that line in the right place? I think we did. So that's how you could check your work. The problem is you cannot do that before you know how to read the word. So you need to know where to divide the word when you don't know the word. You can't clap out a word you can't read. So let's check another one. This one here in the middle. What vowels do you see? Are they together or apart? Ooh, what do you notice? What do you notice? What do you notice? Do you notice any final stable syllables? So this whole second syllable is going to be pull. So that is why we divided the word right there, because there's actually three consonants there, M, L, M, P, L. Did you notice that? But we have to keep P, L, E together. All right, let's look at the next one. Two questions. How many vowels do you see? Are they together or apart? And when you're looking at the vowels, what else should you be looking for? Final stable syllables, suffixes, and E-controlled, like vowel consonant E, right? You notice this? You saw it, right? I wonder if that has to do anything with where we're going to divide this word. Oh, it was the wrong one. But this word we would divide there. Do I get the next one? Okay. We were right. And over here, what vowels did we see? And they're apart, but we know we have G-L-E. Anything with L-E, consonant L-E is final stable syllable. GLE, BLE, FLE, PLE, KLE, they stay together. So goal is the final syllable. And the first syllable is an open syllable. So what's the first syllable? Bu. So bugle. And the word is bugle. Let's see what you're going to do. In Seesaw, on your Wednesday page, you will find these words. You are going to do exactly what we just did. I want you to find the vowels. Use your 2 questions. What vowels do you see? Are they together or apart? And then look for what's in the middle of those vowels. And look for final stable syllable. BLE, FLE, TLE. Keep those together. Any suffixes, ing, ed, s, es, stay together. After you divide it in Seesaw, I want you to read each chunk and then read the word. If you want to check to make sure you divided it right, go ahead and clap it out. Your evidence, and I will be looking at your Seesaw page. I'm not looking at your Edpuzzle score. I'm looking in your Seesaw on this page, on this picture. Did you divide the word into syllables? And did you read it to me? Don't just read it to me. I want you to divide the words. Do the work. Do the work. Okay, I promise it's going to pay off. That's all for now. Toodaloo, Tigers. We do know what to do. And if we don't, look on the Seesaw page when you're done and it'll tell you. That is all for now.